Hello, everyone. Uh, so happy and super happy to see you again in this call. Um it's great to have you all. Let's wait for a few people to join us. I'm super excited for this session. We're having a session like this every month, as you know. If you're new and you're just joining this session, please can you let us know where are you tuning in from? Hey, hi, hello. Oh, thank you so much, Jeremy. I'm glad you like that coaching course. Great, great, great. All right, so Vancouver. Oh, good, 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 good. Dominican Republic. Hola, ¿qué tal? Boston, Ecuador. Hola. New York, Miami, Florida. All right, nice, nice, nice. Norway. Whoa, Austria. Austria. Whoa. Finland. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. The tuning in are getting busy. UK, Washington. All right, I'm super happy that you guys are enjoying a lot this session as I do. So thank you so much for joining these creator sessions. Those sessions, as you know, are here to inspire students, creators from all over the world to connect with them with their inner minds and processes by sharing artists and creators in the immersive media and interactive technology. Every month, we're going to talk with a creator into our industry and in our YouTube and Twitch channels. And thank you so much for your contribution. I'm super excited to be here today with two creators. Let me just invite them to join in. Hello, hi. So we're here with
Hi
with a
everyone.
very special crew composed by Gabriela and Jorge. They are based in Mexico City, and their practice is a fusion of the aesthetic of social and existential vision of the two minds. And they are very enthusiastic about the exploration of light, form, and space and sound. And we were talking about this before we joined this call. And as you know, there is kind of like from my perspective, there is an importance of also present digital art from Latin America. Like we always see these names in Europe or in the US, but I believe that there are incredible digital artists in Latin America. I believe there is an incredible, an amazing unseen work in Latin America, and like we should be and we should have uh, sorry, my English is terrible today. we sh- I'm getting emotional about this. That's kind of like a true, like I'm getting like goosebumps
Right.
talking about this because it's something
Yeah.
that it touched my heart very deeply because I think we're there as artists, we're there as creators, and I wanted to give space for Latin American artists as well. Like this is space that we opened recently, and we have Joanny Messier recently, and like you kind of imagine the amount of artists that we have for you for this year that you're going to see in these sessions, and like this kind of like a guest today are very important for me because like I've been following you guys since the beginning. We barely know each other. Like we barely speak, and even though we live in the same city, we barely
Right.
speak between each other, right? I've been having more conversation with other people, but like between us, like this is the first time that actually we have a first real contact. And I've been following you from the beginning, from your past project and from your recent project, and I can say that I truly admire your aesthetic and your work and the way you guys have been taking this difficult path of creating art, right? Because that's something that a lot of us wish, right? I want to become, very focused into making art. I don't want to work with brands. I don't want to work with this type of clients where and make these audio visuals for, you guys are making the shit, making art. And the first question that I asked, how do you begin this journey? Like, how do you guys became? And then we start from there.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation. We are really excited to be here and share with you and all the people for all around the world. It's super excited. Like see a lot of people. Also see a lot of people like from Latin America. I see in Argentina and Dominican Republic and some other places. So thanks for that. Yeah. And yeah, I think Gaba kind of like explained the beginning. Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much for the invitation. Also, this is kind of emotional for us to talking about the people from Latin America. We because right now we are actually three persons from Mexico talking of about new media art. So I think it's a great approach. And yeah, we start like a few years ago. We actually met at college. We studied design, and that was a huge part of the beginnings because it was a different kind of design. It was in the design school of Fine Arts Institute. So we have like this a different approach, and in the journey of the college, we start learning about this new wave about new media, and we really didn't know what was it, but we just fell in love with these crazy things, with these crazy way to express each other that it already exists in the world, but not that much in Mexico City, so or in Mexico in general. So we just wanted to start knowing and learning these new things for us. So that it's how it starts. It begins. We just exploring new things like how to control lights, how to control motors, how to programming, how to uh, just I don't know, just we just have different ideas and we wanted to try it. We wanted to make graphics, make light, make everything. So since like 2014 we start working together uh, and start with different projects like individual projects. We start one or other studio working with other peoples with other skills, and eventually we came to like a final decision like this is what we want to do, yeah, and it's very focused on art. uh, we also love to call it like multimedia because in this journey we get to decide that it doesn't matter which is the media of the output. Is just what we want to do. If we have an idea, we're gonna make it happen. Doesn't matter if it's light or graphic or video or movement or space or whatever. Um, I think in this journey, you I don't know, get tired of being like looking for any reasons to call your work. So for us, it's like okay, it's just multimedia. Whatever the media we are using is just what we make is our work. Yeah. So but yes, it's really focused on light and form, space, black and white, geometry, wherever. Yeah.
Some of the things that I truly can admire from your work uh, is the identity. You have this very specific identity to I can recognize your work, and there is kind of like a type of research and kind of like a type of imagination that it's been following through the years that has been leading you, right? And even if
Yeah.
you guys scroll their Instagram, you see this
Yeah.
connection between different kind of moments that they discover, and they try to, create and make, and they're very specific. So recently, for example, like I didn't see it live, and I'm really regret about not seeing this live, which is this recently piece that you did called Fragments. And
Which one?
the one that was in the multimedia, the center of multimedia in Mexico, the wall with the
Ah,
Ah, yeah, and
repeat.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
repeat. Sorry, yeah, sorry. I'm just repeat the fragments. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
When,
because they were, it was based on fragments, right? So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
and and for me, it was madness about how you've been evolving
yeah,
this same aesthetic. But can you let us know a little bit more about how you guys figure out, like, well, this is the stuff that we want to research, and this is the stuff that we want to, speak about, and this is the type of art that we want to do.
yeah. I mean, as Gaba say, like back in the day when we start in college, like figuring out about interactive design, new media arts, new programming language, and everything. We just start like experimenting with these tools. Like for us was like tools, and we have like some kind of style from the beginning. But as you say, like we are in this path of figure out what is our style or what is our aesthetic. So at some point, like maybe 10 years ago, we just decide like the first thing that we decide for it was like start to work just with black and white. So that was the beginning for us. So when we start like really studying like black and white, you notice that black and white is not just black and white. It's like the basic of everything. I mean, you have like all these gradients in between black and white, so you can really create shapes, shadows, space, everything, whatever you want with these just two elements. So for us, it's like shorting all the investigation that we are like doing during the whole days, and keep it like simple. And that was our first thing. And I think Gava and I, we have like really similar aesthetics and way of thinking. It's not the same because time to time we discuss a lot of our projects and everything. So it's cool also, but we have like this point of view which is like really really close each
yeah,
other.
kind of similar. Yeah,
So that's why it was easier, because if you share with some other people that they don't like just black and white, they like colors or they like everything, like the discussion it's gonna be like
huge.
harder and huge. But yeah, that's kind of the beginning of this thing. And at some point people start to ask like, why do you just use white light, for example? And for us, like, it's kind of a joke, but for us it's like, do you know that white light is the conjunction of every colors in the same led?
So we're
So
we are
we are
using
we are
every
using
color.
every colors in the same. It's kind of a joke for us, but
Smart.
yeah, it's the way of we think about that. So in our whole path is not just about light. I mean, light is our main tool, but you can use light as a video projection. You can use light as a physical stuff. You can use like darkness for represent light. So that is the way that we kind of think about our projects. And that's why we think we don't have like just one path or just one medium. That's the thing that Gaba is talking about, like the
Yeah,
multimedia stuff, right? So we are thinking like every project, we are not decide what is gonna be the output from the beginning, but we decided in the path and on into the investigation and everything. And as you say on our Instagram, you can follow kind of our, I don't know if it is an evolution, because I don't know if we are going like forward
or where we're going.
or where we are going, but this kind of different. It seems like it's one style, I would say like it is like black and white. That is the thing that we are into it, and all the works are different, kind of different each other, but remain to have the same essence of the aesthetic that we want to pursue.
I think it's more like in the beginnings, like you have all these tools to explore it and to search and to do whatever. So it is massive, like the information that you have. So for us was like, okay, let's start with the basics. So you start with just black and white, but it's not just the color. It is also the forms. Like you start with
Yes.
basic geometries, with basic repetitions, basic stuff, and then you explore another things. But in the journey, it became an identity because it sounds simple, but you cannot finish to explore a simple thing like geometry basics, like uh, like all the ways of repetitions that they are possible, all the way that you can use light and shadow, light and darkness. um, it maybe can sound like simple things, but the possibilities with them are infinite.
Endless.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how it became like an identity, and we just stayed with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say that part of your identity, like I've been in the industry in this industry since the beginning, and I've been
Yeah.
following, like a lot of people in this type of stuff. And what I like about this identity is the simplicity of the complex that you guys been
Yeah.
able to explore. And it will be really great if you can share with us some kind of your a project or some part of your process. How do you guys, like, come up with this kind of like ideas? What are the stuff that the tools that you are using, the way, like, you're being able to, because at the end, tools are tools, and they're just there
Yeah.
Right.
to able to express something.
Yeah.
No matter if you use touch designer of BVVV or whatever tool, right? At the end, it's about what you guys want to express, and it'll be great for you to share with the community.
Right. So we can share our screen. We're gonna share our web page,
Website.
website, right? So do you think it's a good if we talk about memories organicas?
Yeah, yeah. For example, yeah, that thing that you're saying, Josue, is like, yeah, everything that we have, they are just tools. So the important thing in the art thing, in the creative industry, is how you use it, how you use them. So, for example, this is a project that for us is kind of it was huge because it calls memorias orgánicas, which is like organic memories. We start exploring this technique, which is photogrammetry, to 3D scan things. But we took these materials and 3D scans and developed like scenarios, like different scenarios from the objects that we scan. And it happens to be almost nature because this was very organic. We just felt like how do you say, like we felt just attracted to this organic shape. So at the end, we ended up with a lot of nature scanned, and we took this project to different kind of outputs, like for example the like the audiovisual artwork, but also we printed some of these works. So we have like we get back to the traditional mediums, which is the printed one. So it was a huge project. We walk a lot of exploration, a lot of scanning, a lot of recording sounds in the landscapes, a lot of just processing 3D scans, and then processing with programming, and then decide how we are going to show these all this material that we have. So we make this audiovisual artwork, audiovisual installation, and we have also printed work. And also, when the NFT wave came, we also get in with this material, and we have some NFTs with this um, 3D scans. So this is an example of the, I don't know, like this complexity in a project. And yeah, it's one of the ones we love the most. Yeah,
Puedes poner casa.
yeah,
So for me, I think this is one of the projects that it is important for us to show, because start with an exploration of the organic parts of places in Mexico. So the place was Oaxaca, but we are using like a lot of tools, a lot of investigation, a lot of hikes, a lot of like field recordings, and we are working also with lights. So for example, the technique use photographies, so you need to capture light to get this 3D scan of stuff. And as Gava say, like this project has like a lot of outputs. So it has his audiovisual output, it also has his printed version. So I think it's one of our hugest projects. And also Gaba is sharing right now like some animated version of one of these
Can
places.
you go back a little bit more? Sorry, can you start from the beginning, this video?
yeah,
Oh, this is incredible.
So yeah, for example, this one is also inside of Oaxaca. It's kind of es una hacienda. So, but it looks like abandoned, but it was like in reconstruction and everything. So you can really see like in through the rooms, and this like huge yard in the middle is like really classic kind of architecture in Mexico, because you have these huge uh, yards,
yes,
these huge patios, just in the middle of one construction. And yeah, and also we have another ones with just the agaves. Everything of this has his own sound design, which is like complementing the whole part of this. And for example, talking about the process, in like chatting with the local people inside of Oaxaca, we found that these agaves like breathe at night, so you cannot see it, but these agaves are breathing through the air, and that is why they reproduce each other. Also with the bats, with los
yeah,
murciélagos,
but
with the bats, yes. So for example, that one is our representation of this breathing
at night.
at night. So you cannot see it, but right now you can use particle or something, stuff like that, to represent this kind of breathing air in the air. So yeah, this is one of the project that we want to show. But also we have a lot of projects right now on our website. So yeah, I mean we can
What
show.
I love, what I really enjoy a lot of about this is the ability of taking the artistic practice in different levels. You know, like traveling into some place,
Yes,
talking with people, taking stories from that specific
yeah,
scene, because you never, I mean, who will know that the agave breathe at night, like, and
Right.
yeah,
then trying to put that story into the artistic representation of the actual piece. And there is a like a process that starts
Yes.
The moment you take a ticket, you travel, you go there, you take
Yeah,
that, you go back home, you make like there is so much stuff going on. And people, I mean, there's a lot of kind of saying like, yeah, it's a 3D scan, but like it's more than that. That's
Right.
what the
yeah,
essence of truth art is. Like the thing that it's been able to process there to
Yeah.
yeah,
create
Also,
an artistic representation.
it was like a really, really well like received for the locals, because I mean the local people inside of Oaxaca, they are used to see agaves, right? So they are used to see a lot of type of agaves, and for Gaba and I, we are like amazed of this kind of shapes and everything that the agave reproduce just by itself, right? So for us, it's more like a work of investigation more than visual or sound work. And we know right now a lot of things about, for example, mezcal, and how the agave is processed and how they cultivate everything. So each of every one agave has his own history. For example, there is another one called madrequish. That's the correct term. And this agave is totally different that all we know about this agave plant. It's like really tall, and the people use it to create a separation between his lands,
to create the wall.
to
Yeah,
create a wall. But they use it just like organically. They don't use metal separation. They use like the natural. And the meaning of this agave means like lo tuyo mío y la mitad, which in English is like your own, uh,
yours,
yours,
mine,
mine,
and the half.
and the half, and we share. So this is a really poetic way of thinking about cultivate agaves inside of that. And actually, we printed that because it's really really huge. So we printed like in a huge version, and represents a lot of us. So as you said, like we know right now a lot of things about the history and the landscape and everything. Even the sounds. The sounds are really amazing. At night, I showed two pictures from Gaba and I, which have like this sunrise on our back. And at night, you cannot see it even your hands because you don't have electricity in the mountain. So the whole sounds that we hear are amazing. Even if you just walk, it's like a huge, uh, a lot of things that you don't notice if you are not really into your work. And yeah, that's why it's a special for us, this type of work. And even the locals are like really really amazed about our work and how we interpret the histories and everything that we see and hear, and present this as an exposition, as an audiovisual piece, as a gallery exposition, as a sound art piece. So yeah, and that's one
Uh,
of, right.
I was going to say that I'm from Oaxaca, from this town.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I grew up there. I born there. All my family is from there, and for me, seeing this representation of art, it's incredible. Like that's the first thing that I saw when I think like it's the first time someone represents in a very artistic way, in a digital art way,
Yeah.
Oaxaca and Mexico, and also your work reminds me. If you guys don't know this photographer, Manuel Alvarez Bravo,
Yes.
he used to be a famous photographer in the 50s, and like some of the way the light touches some of this scan also are kind of like implicit in this type of like work.
Yeah.
Right.
And the ability of this dude who was living in the 50s also, probably he had the same stories. Like he has been able
Yeah.
to like translate emotions and people, and the only way to translate emotion is to go out there and
Yeah.
to talk with the people. But these things are not images, it's just like discussions with, even with locals, discussions with nature, discussions with the moments. Like it's more than that, it's more than the actual 3D scan, right?
Yeah, I mean, I put this image because it's kind of the thing that you are saying about photography and light. So at some point, I mean, talking about the tools and the techniques, for example, like everything is digital, right? So for example, our images are huge, are 16K of resolution. It's like huge and absurd of resolution. So we decide to print this like in a a really good quality, and you can show it. And at some point, the people ask us like, "This is just a photography, like a picture, like with a
Yeah, with a
in a
camera. Yeah,
room
yeah.
with the lights and everything." And we are saying like, "No, this is actually a 3D stuff. Like you can see it from all the angles." And for example, this is a nopal. It's a nopal, and we want to, I mean, talking another thing more than the agaves, we want to represent the hard life that nopales have, because they are in the desert, they don't have almost nothing of water, and they are resilient, they are resisting and living his life like pushing his
Yeah.
life to the limits. And if you saw it when they dry, you can saw it like with these kind of mesh pads inside of the nopal, so you can understand how the life inside of these plants are working. So for us, this is a representation of this hard life, and we are like trying to do this, like even the spines and everything. Like this for me is a beautiful image, but it is also represent like the hard life of
This plant.
this plant, and we call it vida, because for us this is life. Like is life like in the minimal way
Yeah, of
of
thinking. Yeah.
understand, right? So yeah, this is Memorias Orgánicas. I don't know if you want to talk more about maybe another
Yeah,
project.
before we continue, let me talk about something really quick about the HQ.
Okay,
We
yes.
always so yeah. This is just a very short message for the people who are here. Just join us from everywhere. So this a session we have it here because the HQ it's making this school for immersive designers, creative technologies, touch designers, and developers. And what is incredible about this school is that we have over 60 full touch designer and creative technology video courses. I also was coaching the school, which I enjoy last year, trying to condense a program about making digital art and making immersive content. And we together with more people, we built over 120 custom built touch designer tools. And like at the beginning of the conversation, someone said like, I watched your course, it was amazing. So that's the idea, like to making sure that everybody have in their computer the ability to get in touch with this type of content. And this month we have a special offer right now, 50% off of your first month of HQ Pro. All right, end of the commercial. We can continue with the talk. So I it's this is one of the like I'm enjoying this talk a lot because
Yeah.
uh, it's pure art. That's the essence about. And I'm going to ask you a different question that is related about sustainability. Like, how do you guys maintain this balance between living out of
Yeah.
artwork, and because it's part of the balance as well, like
Yeah.
there are different levels, like, and for example, like in your case, in the last session we had Johnny Lemessier and Juliette Bibasse, who were like
Yeah.
speaking about like they were one day they say like we stopped working with clients and then we decided to make pure art, and that's what we're doing now. Like, I want you guys to speak to me a little bit more about this balance.
Well, it is crazy. It is crazy to start thinking about that. It is a very deep topic to talk about, and I think uh, we actually, yeah, we've been working with digital media, new media art since almost, I don't know, a lot of time. In the middle, you can. Like you meet some kind of work, you can work with commissions or brands, but it's hard because it is not so possible to have your to speak your voice really when you're working with brands. And yeah, eventually you have to decide what kind of work you want to do. So that was the question. Yeah.
That what
Yeah,
that
it
was the
was about
question. The
So
question
the
that
question was more oriented about
environment.
maintaining
environment.
yourself as an artist,
Yeah.
and also not, because we don't see any client works, or maybe you have clients, but who are your clients? How do you
Ah,
Like,
okay.
how do you
Yeah, yeah,
maintain
yeah.
yeah, I
yourself
mean,
is in this environment? Because that's kind of like the question that a lot of people tend to ask, like, hey, I want to become an artist,
Yeah.
but I'm worried about if I'm going to make a living out of it. If
Yeah.
right.
I'm worried about if I'm going to maintain myself and keep making more art, because like I need to pay my bills and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was one of
I
the
think
most important.
I think the real answer is that it's not easy.
It
Definitely, it's not easy.
it's
So
it's super
yeah,
hard, but I think it's creating a balance, as the question says. Like, for example, when we start with, we work a lot with brands. That's the truth. But at some point, as a statement, we decide like, okay, we need to just focus on art. But it was a path, it was a journey. So at some point, you kind of understand that if you, for example, for brands, if you sell yourself, sell is a it's a really strong word. If you offer something,
yeah,
if you offer something to the brands, you can offer something about yourself and about your art. So all the time we are trying to push to the brands to they understand that the art, it's gonna be better if we decide about the whole part of the thing and not just thinking about selling something. Some kind of brands understand that, and they're like doing great jobs, joining with artists to produce something, but not produce something to sell, but most for support and a show. But at some point we understand that we can make a living just doing arts. It's gonna be super hard, but we understand that we can push it and push it and push it, because at the end it's kind of a dream that we are like still dreaming about it. So right now, I feel proud about this, but right now I think we have like maybe 2 or 3 years like working just in our projects without any brands. But it is a lot of hard work, and you need also to be your own, like like how do you say, like,
Guardian,
yeah,
like guardian.
exactly. You need to do a lot of things, not just art. You need to promote your art, you need to document your stuff, you need to also think about it, you need to push it, you need to show the people, you need to
yeah. It's like
a
you
lot
are
of
you
work,
are you are the artist, but also you are the
everything.
PR, you are the film, you are the camera boy, you are the everything until you make it to have all these to gather a team. But in the start, you are all the stuff you have. So yeah, the real thing is not easy. Is super hard, but if you really want to do it, you have to be sure that you want to do it. So I think
So,
that's the only way you're gonna like make it happen for real.
and
Oh,
and right now, like in this moment, we are trying, like, if some brand like ask us for something, we trying to push our stuff, our vision, our stuff, because at the end, if some brand looking for you, is because your work is speaking. So the brand wants something like you are, like like doing all the time. So so yeah, it's also part of work as an artist. Every time some brands like give you some kind of job or work or commission on everything, like trying to push and convince them that your work and your vision, it's better, because you're an artist and you have like this whole, like, holistic vision about arts and about space and about installation and about anything. So yeah, it's also hard work for us, and for the new guys which are starting in this. I think all the people working around this, they are trying to push this. Like arts became first, and then the brand, and then the sales.
So just for people who are hearing this, like becoming an
Yeah,
artist, it comes with a responsibility. It's not that I'm just gonna do a content and I'm just gonna sell it on the NFT world, and it's gonna
yeah,
be sell by itself. It doesn't
yeah,
work like this, and it will never will work ever like this. Probably from what I've seen, like if you want to become, like a people that are getting paid for their work, like
yeah,
what you guys mentioned is like, luckily we have people who want to work with us because of our style, because of our
yeah,
output, because of our like vision, and part of that, it also has to be thought as a mini studio or mini company that is
yeah,
creating this type of very seriously, like it's not just making stuff, but it's like at some point you have to grow.
yeah,
At some point you start playing with tools, but at some
yeah,
point you have to see like we need to document our work very carefully, perfectly. I've seen your videos, guys. Your videos are like perfectly matched and synchronized and very well documented. And that's part of the how you do it. Like, there's no secret recipe
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
exactly.
how you
exactly.
become a like that's the way.
Yeah,
And people will ask like how can I become more known? How can I become yeah, start documenting your work, start being more related into this industry, but also like go out there and like do work, which is like the
Right.
yeah,
basics of everything. Do artwork. That's kind of like basics. Okay,
yeah.
so
I
we
think
have
there's
a very sorry, yeah, go ahead.
no, no, no. Yes.
No, no, I was going to go for the questions,
Oh,
but
Oh,
do you
okay.
want
okay.
to say something while I'm look to the
I,
questions?
I
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to say that yes, there is no recipe, but I think the main thing is you have to maintain your mindset, focus on your work, and then complement with the other activities, and eventually uh, other things will come, like for example money. But and you can afford a life. You can make a living out of being an artist. But yeah, I just wanted to say that you have to focus on your work, and then the other things will come. Yeah,
Oh, we have another. Oh, Paqueta 12. This is a really nice guy out there who is joining the session. Hello, everyone. Okay,
Right.
so we have some questions
okay.
over here. Okay, so you were as beautiful, by the way. Do you ever feel the pressure to add more elements to your work, internal or external? If so, how do you handle that? But then again, your identity is tight, so you probably don't have that issue.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
it's more sorry, I think it's more the pressure is more internal. And it's funny because it have like how we deal with that, just discussing fighting and whatever. But sometimes we are a team. So when you have a team, you have more than one mind. So you have to deal with that, how to work with more than one vision.
I think the pressure is like in the other side. So maybe all the time. I mean, I'm speaking just for myself. Maybe I all the time try to put more stuff in our work,
Yeah,
more and more and more and more. And at some point, it's like edit yourself, because at the end we shared this statement about the essential and the simplicity became complexity. So we are like editing all the time, like yeah, all the time. It's like, okay, we don't need this is too much, we don't need this other stuff, the sound needs to be more minimal. So it's I mean, I'm talking about the process and more technical stuff. But yeah, for us it's more in the other side, like trying to not put too many stuff in just the stuff that we need.
yeah. And also this is kind of very internal, but for example, this is like two opposite sides. Like Jorge always is like trying to find all the elements that we need to put in a piece. On in the other side, I'm like I just want to put one element, which is very extreme. So we need to find that, and we almost every time we make it work. See, somehow.
Somehow we managed to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are more questions. Are you guys turning down clients that don't want to give you full creative control, or do you have a way to finding clients that are more open to your ideas?
It's kind of somewhere in between. So every time that someone asks for us like a commission piece, we start saying like, okay, you are commissioned some stuff, so you want our stuff, our way of thinking, our, like pushing always our type of work. And at some point the clients, or if it is a brand or something, they are trying to put their own vision inside. So we are trying to manage some kind of balance. But yeah, we prefer to have like the most control about the whole stuff around the piece or the artwork that we are doing. But it is not easy, and it doesn't happen all the time. And it's also about like, you need to learn how to speak with clients also. It's super important. You need to
Wow, yeah.
convince, you
Yeah,
need to convince with words, and with presenting also your work, and visualize everything, and trying to be the most tight concept, so they understand and they all also like kind of see it. And that's the way that we are doing that thing.
yeah.
Amazing. Okay, let's continue with what is the main scene in Mexico City? Is there more festivals or corporate museums and galleries?
We
Can
can,
I respond?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
yeah.
What?
Please.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So from my perspective, I've seen that it's booming in the sense of I never seen that many presence of artistic work as in recent years or a
Yeah,
few years ago. Like it's for me the city is becoming like the beginning of how probably Berlin or Barcelona starting to become. They're like reference of design of art. Mexico City is like exploding into that sense. And I think it's a if you guys are thinking about moving in some place that are kind of like that there's kind of like artistic city and there's a space. I think Mexico City it's becoming that. So that's my view. That's what I've seen, from the outside. There's a lot of like festivals and elements more than I imagined that will be. Like all this kind of like pandemic accelerate people moving to Mexico. There's a lot of influence of people from all over the place living here and making art. So and things are being surprising for me. That's kind of
Right.
like
yeah,
my short answer into that.
yeah. I think kind of the same. I think it's in Mexico City right now is like a mix of all these options that the question said. Like, it's not just festival or corporate or museums. It's just uh, all of them trying to incorporate this new media arts scene. So, but yeah, I think is that it's booming.
Also, I like to say that the whole stuff, a lot of stuff are happening right now in Mexico City, like a lot of museums, galleries, a lot of exposition, like festivals. But not I don't think like there's too many just about digital immersive of new media arts. It's a mix. So for
Yeah,
me
of course.
right now, like slowly but constantly, there are more presence of digital or new media artists in between the exposition, in between the museum, in between the galleries. But it is not one gallery just focused on new media art. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's growing. It's growing.
I study in Barcelona, digital art, and I came back from Barcelona to Mexico City because I never lived in Mexico City in 2008, I think, when I came back.
yeah,
Okay.
And I was really depressed
yeah,
about not seeing anything.
yeah,
And
Right.
I even tried to get a job out of like the interactive stuff, and there was just
Yeah,
websites, or that was the
yeah,
only thing. And I was
because
just,
the job doesn't
like
exist.
nobody knew anything about
Yeah,
processing, or
exactly.
never what processing, what is that, nobody knew anything
Yeah,
about that kind of stuff at all. And I was like, holy shit, this is kind of like, it's kind of like an open field, I will say. So for all
yes,
artists, designers who want to have or want to experiment a city, who have this kind of like booming, and there is kind of an open field that it's been, seeding all these seeds around, and they're going to start blooming at some point. I think it's a good moment for I don't know how much it will last, but that's kind of like our perspective, and
yeah.
probably we
yeah.
share a
It
common
is growing
perspective.
up. It is growing up. Yes, for sure.
All right, so let's have another questioner. What do you guys advise for someone who's working full time and trying to learn touch designer and immersive art? How do you get experience and projects with limited time and other projects? So, for your record, these guys, they're not touch designer guys. They're
Yeah.
BBB, but like, just in the,
Right.
let's say, trying to say like
I mean,
software base. Yeah.
we use another software, but it is also based on visual programming. It's kind of it's not the same because there are two different things, but the way of thinking is like connecting boxes, right? So uh, I will say, like, you need to, if you work like full time, and if you really want to push your stuff and your craft and your art, you need to like be more organized with your time and find some, like, every day, sometimes even if it is like just 30 minutes or 20 minutes. And I mean, these guys from HQ, and there is a lot of content right now, so you can learn like the basic. And for me, the best thing is learning from the basics. So you learn the basics, you learn how to move some tools to move something,
Yeah.
and you are start like growing and growing and growing, because every time you are going like trying to, what happens if I connect this thing with this other thing, what happened if I put this thing in this other thing, what happened all the time. It's like, what happened, and there's no limit. I mean, the limit is your graphic card, but actually there is not limit
Yeah.
about like crashing your computer. So for me, that my advice is like, you need to found, even if there's 15 minutes a day, sometimes that you are like just focusing in the thing that you want to learn, even if it is other software, even if it is, I don't know how to make sound, I don't know, but found the time. You need to organize yourself and trying to push it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I would say that if you already know that you don't have enough time to be like super playful or exploring everything, you just start doing whatever you want, like starting patching or something on whatever idea you have. But the key, I think, is do it right since the first. And if you can, and if you get any result that you like, you can document that. So it became an artwork. It became something out of your exploration. So if you know that you are limited, you start doing these exercises or explorations on whatever you want, but try to do it with the finest best, the best way to do it from the start, so it can become something.
Thank you so much. That was great. So let's go for one more question.
Okay.
Uh, do you feel your art as political or spiritual, or both? If it is yes, what are the conflicts or questions that grows in your works?
I think it's not that much,
Political.
not political, but also maybe because the word, but I don't feel like very spiritual. But I think our work is more about um, human mindset. I really like, we are really always like trying to think about even these words, simple and complex, are very hard concepts that you we want to explore. When you think about it, what does it mean to draw a simple line, to draw a complex composition. Just the idea is very I don't know, very complex to think about that. So I think every of our work, our installations, and that even the name, it's simple, but it's because we are like we spend a lot of time thinking about that simplicity, a lot of time thinking about what does it mean to just use a vertical x, for example. No, but I think it's more related about the human mindset in general. We are two humans thinking about these concepts and making something, but I think it's things that we all humans experiment at some point. So, but the only thing is we don't know illustrate that. So, so we are doing it. We are illustrating some concepts that we all think about that, but they seems like invisible sometimes. For example, the axis or the space or the light. Like for example, our last installation that it's they are tall, high, like 10 or 15 meters high. They are using space that it is there, but we don't see it because it's like air or whatever. But it's it's funny and it's super interesting thinking about that space that there is. We know about that, we are conscious about it, but we just take it for granted. I don't know, it's super deep conversation, but I don't know if it's political or spiritual, but yes, it is very human, and I don't know, like time, space, or physical dimensions,
I, I,
I think it's
I will say
around it.
like definitely for me definitely is not a political statement, but inside when we are talking about concepts and when we are talking about everything about one piece or even our own political or social or environment way of thinking, it is inside of the work that we made, but it is but we don't present it as a statement. It's more about our internal interpretation about these social concerns, this political stuff. For example, we have this other word called human drama, and for us is this human drama that we are experiencing with society, with new technologies, with humanism, with this post-humanism. So yeah, the whole thing about the cyborgs and we as humans we are trying to convert to machines and but this all this thinking is inside of us, and when we present the piece is not as is not a statement. It's more like a experience things, and we are trying to say something through our pieces, but not in a political way. It's more like a in a human's perspective, and also in kind of you need to experience yourself. And at some point I think that our work is light, like you can like really get into the work without too heavy question or something like that, but
Yeah,
inside the work there's a lot of my way of thinking. Yes.
a lot of crises. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. So we reached the end of the session. I really appreciate so much you get this invitation. If you guys are following us there, take a closer look into F3. They've been there. There's this powerful Latin American talent out there, and these guys are, as you can hear right now, a very bright mind into this thinking, the way they see art, the way they see these kind of like perspectives. And thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
And
you.
thank you everyone for joining as well. So
Thank
we
you
have a
all.
very powerful. The HQ has a very powerful program for you guys the whole year. Every month we're going to speak with a very interesting studio out there, and we'll see you. I think that's it. See you soon.
Thanks to
Yeah, thanks
everyone.
to everyone.